Hello everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 557, we're going to talk about Dragonlord Ojutai. Now, this deck kind of morphed from where I started. I actually started building a completely different deck, and I kept finding... Anyway, Dragonlord Ojutai. This deck, I want to say, is right at 5613 as of recording this. So we got a 5-mana, 5-power flyer. So that's not bad for our commander. Hexproof as long as it's untapped. To whenever this deals combat damage to a player, to look at the top 3 cards of your library, or put one in your hand, the rest on the bottom. So a little card filtering there. But what I did was blue-white flying matters. Just straight up clear skies, as it were. And what led me down that path, pretty much the first card, was Pride of the Clouds. I mean, I love this card. I think this goes down as the first card I got from Dissension. There was a draft that day, and anyway. But it's a beautiful card. +1/+1 for each other creature with flying. And then I found stuff like Soul Catcher, so when they die, Soul Catcher gets bigger. So I guess we'll start through the ramp, because some of these are pretty expensive mana-wise. We have a Walking Atlas, which I believe represents the only creature in the deck that does not fly. But it does help us ramp out some lands, right? We have Star Compass, Spectral Searchlight, Azorius Keyrune, Clue Stone, Border Post, the Ojutai Monument. I felt like I kind of had to have that one in there. Mana Geode, Urgolem's Eye, and Seashell Cameo to at least give us some early gameplay to where we can get up to our big mana spells, because put a Chroma in here, Angel of Wrath, because, why not, right? As far as flyers, and that flavor text, no rest, no mercy, no matter what. I love it. A little bit of card draw. Don't have a whole lot of card draw. Winged Words, obviously. Excuse me. Flying matters. Loyal Drake does let us draw a card. It's repeatable, and it flies. And then just good old mana for cards. Jace's Ingenuity there. Let's see here. Now, it's one thing to remember, the concerted effort. You've already seen a Chroma, so I was like, well, because I want to run the Angel of Wrath as kind of the top end of the flower curve, and I was like, well, if I'm going to run that, I kind of want to run concerted effort. So I'll admit it did make me probably make some questionable choices on some flyers because of, a lot of strange keyword abilities that you don't normally get that you could grant to the team. Fear, First Strike, Double Strike, Landwalk, Protection, Trample, and Vigilance. So flying don't matter because everybody's got flying anyway. I guess the Walking Ballista could, or not Walking Ballista, the Walking Atlas could get flying, but of course then we have Favorable Wings, Gravitational Shift, Sarah Aviary. Rally of Wings is actually pretty cool. For 2 mana, your team gets +2/+2, and they untap. And then I'm running Cloud Cover, because that way, well, your stuff kind of has protection from spot removal. Just whoop. Back to the hand. So let's get to these flyers, shall we? Azor's First Wing. Hopefully, with the effort, we're going to spread out protection from enchantments, which is, I don't know, that's kind of cool. Judge's Familiar, just to act as a Force Spike later on. Thrumming Bird. I'll admit, the only reason why Thrumming Bird's in there is because I'm running a Time Strike. Now, 4 mana for a 2-power flyer. Yeah, but that's Infect. And with a lot of stuff to pump up, that's kind of really good. Archetype of Imagination, gotta have it. the whole shtick of having all flyers is so your creatures are harder to block, obviously. A lot easier to block if your opponents have flyers too, which they will. Most decks do. It's probably the most popular mechanic. All right, so in no particular order here, we have a Fairy Guide Mother. Just honestly, it's an early body. It's a 1-drop. Same way with Aven Skirmisher. Voice of All, protection from the chosen color, and, if we've got the concerted effort out, it's kind of a big deal. Pilgrim's Eye, I mean, it gets you a land, but it's also a flying body, so that's pretty neat. Iridescent Angel. When I was building this deck, I got on Discord and asked the patrons because I couldn't decide. Oh, well, just off the top, I had both of them. The original from Odyssey and then the From the Vault one here. And I was like, which one? Which one do I use? And I think Chris, he said it best. He's like, we know you're going to pick the full one, Brian. You're right, Chris. Herald of the Sun. You do find yourself sometimes with extra mana. Windstorm Drake. Pumping your team. Warden of Evil's Owl. Making your team cost less. Thunderclap Wyvern. Now, Wrath Compassion's in there. Yeah, the historic thing. It's a flash flyer 3/3 for 4, and that's not bad. As far as historic stuff, we're looking at Mana Rocks and our commander. So, giving the commander flash, yeah, like I said, it's probably a little loose. Sephara, the Skyblade. 7/7s are not bad. Subjugator Angel. Wow. That's worth, in my opinion, that's worth the 6 mana. Now, yes, it would be awesome with like Deadeye Navigator, so you could continually keep everybody's creatures tapped down. But it's really good. Sprite Noble, increasing the toughness. Empyrean Eagle. Thrix, there he is. We got a lot of cards with CMC 5 or more, so he works in a pretty good way. Drogskull Reaver, man, I'm telling you. Flying, double strike, life link, gain life, draw card. What? This is amazing. I had to do it, Sarah Angel. It's just a classic card. Animating Fairy, Aerial Responder, Angel of Vitality. Angel of Vitality blows my mind. I don't understand why this is not the #1 white creature played in all of Commander. I mean, this is a 40 life format. Would you pay 3 mana for a 4/4 flyer that, gains you more life? I mean, and that artwork is just outstanding. Shepherd of the Lost. One of those questionable picks I got because of the addition of Flying and First Strike on the same creature. 5 mana is a little more than I like to pay for a 3/3, but those abilities matter. Dream Trawler. Rocking every other format. Why not this one? The lifelink kind of helps in the overall grand scheme of things, Card draw is just, it's a great card. I don't have to tell you all that. Soaring Show Off. Each player draws a card. It's kind of neat. Inspired Sphinx. Draw cards equals the number of opponents you have. Hey. And it makes flying bodies. Oh, so good. Last Creature's Aven Wind Guide. Creature tokens you have, kind of pairs with the last one. Flying and Vigilance. A little bit of... We got a Spell Pierce. Now, I like the Spell Pierce. The early... We tap out in this format more than any other format. It's like we just don't expect people to be playing with, mana taxers. But it works. Negate, Disdainful Stroke, Spell Snare. Spell Snare does seem kind of focused, but you know how many amazing 2-drops there are. I mean, my personal philosophy is in 60-card Magic, which, call it what it is. It's not my lane, but your 2-drops kind of dictate how good your deck is. But in our format, a lot of ramp, a lot of removal. Yeah, if I can swap a Spell Snare with anything, because it's just 1 mana. Deluge. Tap all creatures without flying. This is a good example of an I win card, because, I mean, if we've got a team, hey. Now, I don't have a whole lot of spot removal. I don't. Or any mass removal, because the whole idea is just creatures, flyers and flyers, Cloud Chaser, Eagle. This is what I'm running in place of a Disenchant. Dungeon Geist, a flyer that does kind of tap down a creature. Pongify, Eternal Isolation, and Azorius Charm. All we got left is our non-basic lands. Run the Exotic Orchard. Mystic Sanctuary. It's just so good. Now, granted, it is way better in mono blue decks. I'll use it in 2-color decks because you really want it to come into play untapped. I mean, it's kind of the whole point. So it gets harder to do the more colors you add, obviously. 2 colors is about the max I'll go. Secluded Step, a little cycle action. Rogue's Passage, y'all saw that coming. Panorama. Moorland Haunt. You get some use out of your, already used creatures, It does make the flying tokens. It kind of helps the other things. Then, of course, we got just the mana lands. Temple of Enlightenment, Tranquil Cove, Azorius Guildgate, Azorius Chancery, Meandering River, Sigiria Refuge, Calciform Pools, and Evolving Wilds. And that is it. I think I used like all BFZ basics. The full art basics. So that's it. Dragonlord Ojutai, all about the flyers, even though the card is actually not all about the flyers. I was actually trying to build, or I started off building a blue-white, I can't even remember, was it Casimir? A blue-white legend from Legends, actually. It's one of the vanilla creatures that just don't do anything. Oh, I didn't put tokens, did I? I'm a noob. Okie dokie. Well, I still haven't moved those dang lights. I keep forgetting that when I pull the camera up like this, those lights are annoying. Anyway, that is 5:57. Let's go put it on the wall. Yeah, you would think with the current scenario that we're all living through that it'd be a good time to build decks, but I am I'm one of the fortunate few that I have worked more than I normally have. So, but you know what? It's all good. We'll get through it. We'll get through it together. I do appreciate y'all watching. I think that's all I got for today. Right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.